I'm sitting here in the Plaza del Armas in Álamos, Sonora, Mexico, one of Mexico's many pueblos mágicos. This plaza was built, around me, was built in the 1680s, and it followed the plan the Spanish had for a village or church in the New World, which is Latin and South America, and that was to have a central plaza with a church at the end of the plaza, and over to our right is the church, and we will, on another walk and talk video, go through that church. This is Errol Zimmerman. I'm a member of the board of directors of the Álamos History Association, and I'm doing a series of walk and talk videos to show people this wonderful town in the southern part of the state of Sonora in Mexico. My goal today is to show you and talk about the Kissing Alley here in Álamos, Sonora. But I'll begin here in the plaza talking a little about it. Here at this end of the plaza, we have some people posing for a picture there. This is a tourist destination, especially for people in Sonora and Sinaloa. We'll cross one of the corners of the plaza, and now of course we have on the south end of the plaza we have the church, La Iglesia de Nuestra Señora de la Purísima Concepción. And this church was built first in the 1680s during the time of the founding of the city, which was 1684, but this structure was built in 1787. And I will be doing a later walk and talk around the church and inside the church. We'll cut through here to the kiosk. And this kiosk was built in 1904 and inaugurated anyway in 1904. And there have been some changes. They're constantly changing the roof of the kiosk. It's changed at least a couple of times since I've been here. But there you can see a little of the roof and the plastic flags that are out. Our festival, the Alfonso Ortiz Tirado International Music Festival, just ended this week. And so the center of town is still decorated a little bit for festival activities. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Now we're moving closer to the Kissing Alley. This is the Centro Comunitario Nilito Boers, which has been the Robinson Boers family home for nearly 2 centuries. It was actually built by Bartolome Salido, but he sold it to the Almada family. It came to the Boers, and they've had it a couple of hundred years. And we'll talk more about that. I'm going to do later a little talk through this community center where they have classes in music and art and They have education classes. It's really a community center with an auditorium that seats over 100 people. We'll keep going. We're headed toward the Kissing Alley. We are now entering the Kissing Alley, and it's midday, so there are shadows and shades at different times of the day. It's more scenic and photogenic. This was not always called the Kissing Alley. The street has existed here since the time of the development of the main plaza, but it wasn't called a Kissing Alley. It was really called the Angosta or Estrecha, anyway, the narrow street, because of course, as you can see, it is narrow. But in the 1950s in Guanajuato, in the state of Guanajuato, they came up with an alleyway that they called the Kissing Alley. And after that, many other cities in Mexico adopted that as the title of a narrow street, where, like Romeo and Juliet, young lovers could sneak a kiss without leaving their homes and unbeknown to their family. Well, we'll walk down and then we'll walk back up the Kissing Alley. You can see some of the graffiti that is in the wall to the left, and written there by presumably young people who want to make their mark on this Kissing Alley. Buenos dias, buenos dias. You can see the sign. This is the Donas del Beso and the Pizzeria del Beso. Of course, Kissing Alley in Espanol is Callejo del Beso. Beso is the kiss. We have now gone to the end of the Kissing Alley, and we're now at the east end of the Mercado. Now, after the Mercado was built, the Kissing Alley became a very important part of the city, and because there was a lot of traffic from the market to, anyway, the center of town. We'll go back and look up, anyway, the Kissing Alley, what it is. And so the traffic has remained. Now, in stories, especially in John Hilton's book, Sonora Sketchbook, he talks, and other writers have talked about carts of firewood, carts going up this little narrow street, but it was a major thoroughfare into the Plaza de Armas, and so it was quite heavily used. We just completed the music festival, and there were so many people going up the street during the festival. Buenos días.
Buen día.
We're now at the end, or actually the beginning, of the Kissing Alley. While we're here in the Kissing Alley, I will tell a little about the beggar who smelled like violets. Now, this was a story that John Hilton wrote about during his visits in the 1930s and 40s. But here in this alley, there was apparently an old woman, penniless, who would beg in the alley. And what she would do, if you gave her money, she would walk over to the church and pray. And I guess she would pray for you and for problems that you may be having. But the interesting thing was, whenever you walked down the alley when she was there, it smelled like violets and wonderful, just a wonderful smell. Now, John Hilton writes that he got to know her, his daughter, who was then very young, would look forward to giving her alms when they would walk down. And Hilton says that she was reluctant to talk, but she had mentioned that she had married a French national, and on their wedding, he had given her a bottle of very expensive French perfume. And he said, this will last a lifetime. And as she told John Hilton, it's almost empty. Now, this story of the beggar who smelled like violets was also written by Ida Louisa Franklin in her book on the legends of Álamos. And the difference is that according to John Hilton, this really happened. But according to Ida Louisa Franklin, it was just another story, a legend. Maybe it was true or not. I tend to believe John Hilton. In his book, he was very accurate and he documented things very well. One thing that I don't think I mentioned in the trip through the Kissing Alley was the fact that all of the alleys in Álamos, by a 1752 order, were to be closed to protect against rats and garbage and also vandals. And the Kissing Alley survived. That little street survived, although others, narrow, didn't make it. Now, I don't know if houses were built in these alleys, or that's something that our town historian, Juan Carlos Olguin Valderrama, can address, and perhaps in a future video. Well, this concludes our tour of the Callejo del Beso, the Kissing Alley of Álamos. I'm back in the plaza, and I'm waiting for our next adventure to be put onto our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching.